Hi students, I hope by now you have checked your MBA CET 26 attempt 1 result which was announced today. And of course attempt 2 result will also be announced hopefully very soon considering they have published the redressal document. Now, regarding score versus percentile, we have been hearing a lot of students complain that maybe the normalization is not fair and so on. And to really figure out whether any issue has happened with the score versus percentile, we have started compiling the score versus percentile actual table. Now, to help us in this particular effort, I would encourage you to fill a form which you will find in the description of this particular video. It's a completely anonymous form. So this is how the form looks. I'm going to give you a link in the description through which you can fill it. There are only 4 questions. The first question is which test slot did you participate in? So which particular slot you can just select it. What was your score before correction? So if you had calculated your score using the response sheet which was given, so what was your score before correction? What was your score after correction? And please enter the exact values only if you remember. If you do not remember it or you had not calculated it, please don't mention this. Then what's your exact percentile? So preferred is if you can put the exact percentile that you have on the scorecard, but if not, you can just round it off to 2 decimal places. Now what we are going to do is we haven't linked it directly to this particular sheet because we are going to scrutinize the data. Now as we have seen something happening this year is that pretty much all the score calculators which were available in the market and leaderboards which were created had a lot of fake data. So students entering some information and tampering with the data which was there, and it becomes almost meaningless. And that is why it is not directly linked to this particular sheet. So if you submit your data, you will not find it reflecting immediately on this particular sheet. Because we have kept this anonymous, I would suggest that you share this with a lot of your friends so that we have maximum information captured so that we really know what exactly has happened. Now, for example, we were going through a lot of different places which are available online. We also captured data of a lot of our students. And what we see, for example, in slot one, we could not find a lot of data for students scoring more than 152, right? So we found somebody getting 151, getting a 99.80, 150, 99.64, and so on. So we are going to look at the data that you submit. And if it makes sense, if it kind of falls in between these ranges that we have, it is very close to the anchor points that we have, then only we will put that data. Correct. So for example, if we see here 126 is 97.70, 121 is 97.40 as we found online, it may not be completely accurate, and that is why I would request you to enter actual exact information. It is completely anonymous, so fill it so that it will help everybody, right? It's not a matter of now okay, this particular institute is publishing this. It's just that you can help yourself and you can help everybody because you're going to understand what exactly has happened in each of the slots. Looking at slot 2, for example, we got somebody with 168 at 99.96, 165 is 99.94, and so on and so forth, right? Now, suddenly you see this particular thing, which is 99.80 at 158. This gap, maybe it's 99.84, 99.87, etc. Once you fill this form, we'll be able to figure that out. Now, even after all of this effort, it may still happen that we don't get a lot of exact data points, and that's completely okay. But as long as we have most of the data points captured, right, we'll be able to figure out if there's any issue or not. For example, there were some students who were saying that maybe they have not calculated percentile slot wise. They have put all the raw scores together and then they have calculated the percentile. Now, if that had been the case, you would see upward trend only, right? And you don't see that happening. For example, if that had been the case, 156 in slot 4 would have fetched you the same percentile as 156 in slot 5. But that is not happening purely because they calculate percentile slot wise, right? And as you can see, you will see upward trend in each of the columns. Again, slot 3, we could not find a lot of data. In fact, we saw somebody with a 171 at 99.92 and 147 at 99.79. If you look at slot 4, right, these are actual again score versus percentile. So 169, 99.88, 166, 99.86, 83, 72, and 64 here, right? It seems believable that that is how it would be. and you would have whatever. We can also extrapolate a little bit in between the ranges, so that can be done. But it cannot be done in, let's say, something like a very big gap which you see between 156 and 142. So we would need those data points. It will of course help pretty much everybody. That's why we have kept it open. We don't really want to just store the information with us. We're just going to keep it open for everybody to access. Looking at slot 5, for example, we saw somebody with 156 at 99.90. Slot 3 and slot 5 have somehow turned out to be very surprising in terms of score versus percentile. Everybody reported that these were extremely difficult. All the online data that was available, even the data that we captured, kind of showed that these two slots are difficult. But looking at the percentile, not exactly sure what has happened. But once we have more data, hopefully we'll have some understanding of how the percentile has turned out to be, right? And again, very, very limited data available from slot 5. I can't see too many data points. And see, a lot of people hesitate when they have to reveal their identity, right? So they have to put their name, etc. That's why this is a completely anonymous thing. Just fill it out, and we'll try and update this particular table after every 2 to 3 hours, so that in the next few days we have a very good table showing you exact score versus percentile that happened for Maharashtra MBA CET 26. We will have the same sheet for slot 6 and slot 7 also. So once those results are out, you can come back here, fill the same form, because it also has slot 6 and 7 added. So you can fill that data, and that time also will have the exact score versus percentile, which will help everybody. Okay. So that's it for now. We are of course going to have videos in terms of what is going to happen from here after the result, what is the process and all of that, the cutoffs that you can expect for various institutes. So stay tuned on the channel for it. I hope this initiative will help everybody. So make sure that you enter your information here. If you don't want to fill the form, you can leave a comment, but I would really appreciate if you actually fill the form, so that we look at that data and then sort of complete this entire table that is out there. Okay. So thank you so much. I wish all of you all the best, and I'll see you soon in the next one.